Okay, so let me just read it out. It's, "Hello, English learner. Welcome to our channel, English Learning Master. Let's start our today's video." And that's it.
Ever wonder why some English word combinations just, well, click?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
feel completely natural, yeah. Like how a native speaker would say it, while others, even using perfectly good words, sound a little off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're diving into today. The fascinating worlds of English collocations.
Right.
Our mission, really, is to help you unlock this key to fluency, so your English sounds more natural and you can express yourself with, greater confidence.
Precisely. Think of it like going beyond just knowing individual musical notes. You need to understand the chords, right? The combinations that make the music sound good.
That's a great analogy.
We're not just looking at words on their own, but how they habitually sort of pair up in English. By the end of this, you'll have a much clearer idea why these partnerships work and, importantly, how you can use them.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What is a collocation exactly?
Well, put simply, it's a team, a group of two or more words that you just find together really often.
And they sound right. That's the key part, isn't it?
Totally. They sound natural to native speakers. You kind of instinctively feel they belong together. Take strong coffee versus powerful coffee.
Right. Both words describe intensity, but strong coffee, that's the one.
That's the standard pairing. And it's interesting because it's not always strict grammar or logic behind it.
Oh,
Often it's just convention, like the way English speakers have used these words together over a long, long time. It's almost like this unspoken agreement that these pairings are the ones that work best.
so why should this matter to you listening? Well, for starters, it's a massive game changer for fluency.
Oh, absolutely.
When you start using collocations naturally, your speaking, your writing, it just flows so much better. You're not like mentally grabbing individual word bricks to build a sentence.
No, you're using these ready-made chunks, these native-sounding phrases. It makes a huge difference.
And it's not just about sounding smoother, is it? It's also about accuracy.
Yeah, that's a big one. Even quite advanced learners sometimes put words together that just, well, don't typically mix in English, even if the dictionary definitions seem okay.
Right.
Knowing collocations helps you avoid those common slip-ups that can make your English sound a little bit awkward.
Plus, think about vocabulary enrichment.
Mhm.
Mastering collocations gives you more precise ways to express yourself, more idiomatic ways.
Exactly. Instead of just a general word, you can use a specific pairing that carries exactly the right feeling or nuance. It's like upgrading from, I don't know, basic paints to a full artist's palette.
Nice. Okay, let's roll up our sleeves then and look at some collocations in action, starting with uh, everyday stuff, the things we all do.
Yeah, and it's amazing how quickly you spot them when you just think about a normal day, right from the start. Like we said, you have breakfast. Now, eat breakfast is fine, people understand it, but have breakfast is almost always how it's said. It's just the natural default pairing.
Totally. And after waking up, maybe you take a shower. You'd never really say make a shower or do a shower, would you? It just sounds wrong.
Completely wrong to a native ear. And then another one everyone does. You brush your teeth. That specific verb, brush, is so strongly linked to teeth cleaning.
It makes you wonder why these specific pairs stuck, doesn't it?
It often comes down to subtle meanings and how the language developed. Have, for instance, is super versatile. It can mean possess, experience, or, like with breakfast, consume as part of a routine.
Oh, okay.
And take a shower sort of emphasizes undergoing the process, the action itself. It's these little nuances that make a collocation feel right.
Right. Okay, so morning's covered. What about heading out? Often we make plans with friends.
Yeah.
You would normally say create plans in casual chat, right? Make plans
Yeah.
just feels established for social stuff.
Definitely. Make plans is the go-to. And if those plans involve getting outside, maybe you go for a walk. Such a common, natural phrase for a leisurely stroll. We don't usually say go on a walk, although you might take a walk. That's another okay one. Notice the verb change there.
Interesting. And hopefully, whatever you do, you have a good time.
The standard phrase for enjoyment.
Saying get a good time
Yeah.
just doesn't land the same way.
No, it doesn't. And think about weather affects us all. We often say it rains heavily.
Right.
You could say rains a lot, but rains heavily paints a stronger picture, and it's very standard, the typical adjective for lots of rain.
Okay, here's a little brain tickler for you listening. Which verb usually goes with the dishes? Do we wash the dishes, do the dishes, or clean the dishes? Think which one sounds most natural.
It's do, isn't it?
It is do the dishes. It's one of those everyday pairings you just pick up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears. Collocations in work and study.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is how specific fields like work or academia develop their own sets of these word pairings. They're pretty vital for clear communication in those contexts.
Like,
Well, in an office, you'll very often attend a meeting. Now, go to a meeting is fine, but attend often feels a bit more formal, more established professionally.
gotcha. And deadlines. We all know about deadlines. You have to meet a deadline.
Absolutely. That's the phrase. You wouldn't usually say reach a deadline in the same way, even though reach seems logical. Meet a deadline is the standard.
And when you finish a piece of work, you submit a report.
Right. Again, other verbs might technically fit, but submit is the expected natural one in that kind of formal or semi-formal context.
And if you do well, maybe you get a promotion.
That's the common phrase, yeah. Moving up the ladder. You could say receive a promotion, but get is definitely more common, maybe a bit more informal.
And with that promotion, hopefully you earn a good salary.
Yes, earn is the verb that really pairs with getting money for work. It implies you deserved it, you worked for it.
But work isn't always easy, is it? You might face difficulties.
Or deal with problems. Yeah. These are the standard ways we talk about encountering challenges and then, managing them. Face suggests confronting, deal with suggests managing or solving.
Okay, shifting to study then. Students use these all the time. They need to study hard.
Right. You wouldn't say study strongly, even if you are studying with strength. Study hard is just the fixed phrase.
And in class, a basic skill is to take notes.
Yep, take notes. That's the verb for recording info during a lecture. You wouldn't normally say write notes in that specific spoken context, even though obviously you are writing them.
True. And for assignments, students have to do research.
Always do research. That's the fixed collocation for investigating a topic for academic work. Make research just sounds completely wrong.
Painfully wrong. And then the big moment, you take an exam.
Almost always take an exam, not do or make. The verb take here means participating in it, undergoing the assessment.
And to succeed, students really need to pay attention in lectures.
Crucial one, describes focus. Give attention is understandable, but definitely less common than pay attention.
And hopefully all that effort means students make progress in their studies.
That's the standard way to talk about academic improvement.
Yeah. Okay, another one for you listening. Which adjective usually comes before decision? Is it big decision, large decision, or major decision?
Thinking about significance.
It's major decision. That's the common one, carrying that weight of importance. Right, let's move into feelings and emotions, how collocations work there.
Yeah, this is where they get really insightful, I think. They let us express all those subtle shades of emotion in ways that feel, well, authentic and are instantly understood.
So for happiness?
Well, you might simply feel happy. Very direct, very common pairing.
Or maybe something stronger, like you could experience joy.
Exactly. Experience joy suggests something maybe more intense, perhaps more fleeting. Experience often pairs with stronger feelings or sensations.
And something funny might make you laugh.
That's the standard way, make you laugh. You wouldn't really say 'cause you laugh.
No. Okay, flip side, sadness.
You might feel down. It's a very common, quite gentle way to describe feeling unhappy.
Or if it's more intense.
You might shed tears. That's the specific verb for crying. Other verbs like release tears just sound unnatural.
Definitely. What about anger?
Well, a common one is you might lose your temper.
Oh, yeah.
Describes getting angry, maybe losing control a bit. It's vivid. Everyone understands it.
Or maybe less intense.
You might just feel frustrated, which is, yeah, a milder anger or annoyance. Feel is super useful, pairs with loads of emotion adjectives.
And it's interesting how we talk about showing or not showing emotions, too.
Right. We often express your feelings openly. Express is the natural verb for communicating emotions.
But sometimes.
Sometimes you might choose to hide your emotions. Hide is the standard word for keeping feelings private.
And worry, if that creeps in.
You might feel anxious. That's
Yeah.
a common collocation for that state of unease, nervousness.
Or maybe more specific worries.
You might have concerns about something. Have is very common when talking about thoughts, worries, opinions. You hold those concerns.
Okay, question time again. Which verb do we usually use with surprise? Do you have a surprise, get a surprise, or feel a surprise?
It's get, isn't it?
It is. Get a surprise. Describes receiving something unexpected. Okay, moving on. Let's talk environment and weather collocations.
Yeah, and the language here is often quite specific, quite evocative using these pairings. Like rain, we often say it rains heavily.
Creates a strong image, doesn't it? Heavy downpour.
Definitely. Similarly, for wind, we often say the wind blows strongly. Strongly really emphasizes the force.
And in winter, snow.
We talk about heavy snow. Heavy is the typical adjective for a lot of snowfall. You wouldn't say big snow or large snow.
Just sounds odd. On a nicer note, we enjoy bright sunshine.
Bright is the adjective that just springs to mind for strong sunlight.
And when you can't see.
We often encounter thick fog. Thick really paints a picture of how dense it is.
Right. Shifting to bigger environmental topics now, we often talk about climate change.
Yeah, that two-word term, it's become the standard collocation for that huge global issue.
And link to that.
Global warming. Another really established collocation refers to the Earth's temperature increase. You almost always hear those two together in environmental discussions.
And thinking about animals, we talk about the need to protect endangered species.
Protect is the key verb there. Highlights the action needed. It's a crucial pairing.
And the Earth's gifts.
We refer to natural resources, emphasizes they come directly from the planet.
And the search for better power.
We explore renewable energy. Renewable is the defining adjective for those sources, the ones that can be replenished.
Okay, question for you listening. Which adjective usually describes pollution when it's really bad? Is it big pollution, large pollution, or heavy pollution?
Thinking about contamination levels.
It's heavy pollution. That indicates a significant harmful level.
Right. Final category. Collocations for making requests and giving advice.
Yeah, and it's interesting how politeness and social rules are kind of baked into the collocations we use here.
How so? Well, if you need something, you might make a request. It sounds quite formal, standard way to start asking.
Or, more casually.
You might just ask for help. Very direct, very common when you need assistance.
Or you could ask a favor, if it's something specific you need someone to do for you.
Yep. Ask and favor stick together strongly.
And turning it around, offering help, you might give advice.
That's the standard verb for offering guidance. You could say offer advice, but give advice is probably more frequent. It's just the common pairing.
You could also offer support, showing you're there to help more generally.
Offer is key there, shows willingness. And if someone gives you advice, it's usually smart to take advice.
And if you have an idea,
You might make a suggestion. Make is common for putting forward an idea like that. You could offer a suggestion too, but make feels very standard.
or more formally, like in a meeting.
You might put forward a proposal, often used for more detailed, structured ideas.
And finally, telling someone how to get somewhere or do something. It's important to give clear directions.
Clear. That emphasizes easily understood instructions. Yes.
Okay, our very last question for this deep dive. Which verb usually goes with a favor when you're the one asking? Is it ask a favor, make a favor, or do a favor?
We touched on it. It's ask.
It is ask a favor. The established natural collocation.
So yeah, as we wrap up, we've covered quite a range, haven't we? Collocations in everyday life, work, study, feelings, weather, requests.
We have. And hopefully you've seen how these natural word pairings are just fundamental, really key to sounding fluent and accurate in English.
And the main thing is learning them isn't really about memorizing lists from a book.
No.
It's much more about developing an ear for the language, noticing these partnerships that just sound right. And that comes mostly through, well, exposure.
Reading a lot, listening carefully, conversations, podcasts like this one, watching TV or movies in English.
Exactly. The trick is to become an active listener and reader. Really pay attention to which words seem to hang out together, and maybe jot them down when you notice a good one.
Yeah, make notes. And then, crucially, try to consciously use them yourself.
That's the key step. Try incorporating them into your own speaking and writing. It might feel a bit, I don't know, deliberate at first.
A little forced, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. But with consistent practice, using the right collocations starts to feel more automatic, more intuitive. It's like building up that language muscle memory.
Absolutely. It's a gradual thing.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to sort of chew on. Now that you're more tuned into collocations, what other interesting word partnerships do you start noticing? In the English you hear and read every day.
Good question.
Keep paying attention to these maybe seemingly small things. They're actually incredibly important parts of the language puzzle. A vital piece for really mastering English and expressing yourself naturally, confidently.